Hello, everybody, and welcome to San Antonio by Nights. Hope everybody is settled in and ready to listen as we tell a couple of other personal stories of the characters of our chronicle that takes place in the Alamo City. The Coterie has been taking a few nights to gather some of their resources, to collect themselves, to think back, do some things, maybe put in a few little plots to get themselves ready for what could possibly be the biggest threat that San Antonio will be facing. Or at least the Coterie themselves, maybe not the whole city. Our first little personal story will be following Benji as he finishes up some business with Emmanuel, possibly gets in touch with a Nosferatu named Rascal, maybe gets himself up to some personal business. So, I would like you all to join me at La Medianoche. If. Hold on. It's loading. There it goes. Alright. I was worried that Roll20 was being stupid. Benji, you've been out and about, taking taking stock of what it is that's going on for you. You had some business to take care of with Emmanuel. Yes?
That's right. Man. This Rascal bullshit. On one side, it's convenient. Cleared a lot of pathways for us in this moment. We have something big coming. Camarilla. Camarilla. God, why does that piss me off so much? Isabella told me a bit about them. Told me about the court, how they work, their hierarchy, and a few legends, but couldn't get into it too deep because I just fucking pissed me off. I didn't have enough reason before now, but Camarilla are invading the city. My city. And bringing harm to my coterie with it. My friends. They want to play war so damn bad, then I'll bring the war to them first. They won't even have a chance to settle before I've already lit fire to their camps. And drained them for all they're worth. God. I just need to supply up first and foremost. Rascal will be a good start, but I need to know something. Urian pointed it out, but I don't really get it myself. I know things. I know things I feel like I shouldn't know. Or rather, that's what it feels like. So... maybe Isabella knows.
Perhaps.
Well, all the more convenient I'm here. I go to knock on Isabella's door. See if she's in the office right now.
You give it a brief knock, and shortly after, she does answer the door. Ah, Benji.
Hey, can we talk about something?
Always. And
Cool.
she ushers you into the office and offers you a chair and sits down at the desk chair herself.
Thanks. It's a little private, so Benji just casually closes the door.
All right.
Isabella, something's coming, and I need to know some things.
You can ask me any question, Benji. You know that.
Yeah. First, I have something I need to tell you, and it might come off as a difficult, maybe a shock. I don't know, but Benji sits down, kind of slouches. He grips at his knees very tightly.
She just watches you and waits for you to talk.
We got word that Camarilla is coming to the city.
Camarilla.
Yes. It's kind of complicated, but we had someone, well, Urian had someone look into it. And from the appearance of things right now, they're not here yet, but we suspect there's plotting. Right now, they're in Dallas.
Lots of Camarilla in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's a Camarilla city.
Well, obviously. Yeah. Wait. Really? No. Never mind that. There's reasons for them coming to San Antonio. There's a lot of reasons. And at this point, we're suspecting they're gearing up for it.
Uh-huh. Who told you this?
Urian called in a favor. He got info from some Nosferatu.
Do you have a name? You're being very vague with me, Benji, and I appreciate that you don't really want to spill much in the way of details, but I can't help you if you don't tell me anything.
The guy's name was Bjorn? Burr? Something like that. It's not that I can't tell you, I just don't know what the fuck kind of name that was.
It's an interesting name.
It sounded Scandinavian or something. I don't know.
I think I've heard of that name before, though. And you trust this information?
Well, I trust Urian doesn't make mistakes.
No, I would suppose not. Okay.
There's a lot on my mind right now because Isabella, what is it when a kindred devours another kindred? Not just takes their blood, but completely devours them. What is that? And, well, it's a weird question, but
She looks at you concerned.
I know about it, and I don't really know how I know. I just do. There's a lot of things that I feel like just a lot of really weird occult shit that's just in my head. I don't feel like I should know this stuff.
You're very young.
Well,
there's no reason you should.
I'm just not. I'm not into that stuff. I don't.
Are you asking me for a specific reason? Were you...
Why do I know this stuff, Isabella? Is this just something kindred can do naturally? Or why do I fucking hate the Camarilla so much?
She kind of leans back in her chair a little bit, tapping her chin. You're not going to like the story. I've told you this story several times, and each time you have gotten upset.
You mean I lost it?
You have a tendency to do that, Benji.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I know it's a lot to ask right now, but I want to know why. If you know.
It's because you were embraced by a monster. A bigger monster.
Okay.
You are very strong, Benji. I have no doubts about that. You could break the floor of this entire building with a single punch, should you decide you wanted to. And the reason that you can do that, the reason you were selected and embraced by your sire, is for that reason. You were meant to tear down walls. You were meant to rip Camarilla in half.
Why? Is it Anarch? Or...
No.
Uh,
It's another faction called the Sabbat.
Sabbat.
They wage religious war against the Camarilla. And you were one of them.
Benji looks at the floor and clenches his head. Religious war. What the hell does that even mean?
Exactly.
What, like I did a crusade or some shit?
Effectively. Do you remember the night I met you? You remember a lot of things. I've been trying to work with you.
I woke up. Maybe I wasn't really asleep at all or anything like that, but there was a stake in me. In my heart. Benji starts shaking a bit.
We don't have to continue if you don't want to.
No, I have to know. I have to know sooner than later.
Okay. You were a member of a team that was meant to attack a safe house. You in Dallas, I believe. It was on the outskirts. It wasn't deep in the city. But you and your team had tracked a lot of Camarilla resources to that house.
Our team. We're all embraced by the same guy.
No. Not that I'm aware of. But all specifically selected because it was a rite of passage.
We were. Benji relaxes a bit as he begins to venture into his memories. We were tasked, my team specifically was tasked with making sure that we diverged the security team while my sire went in and took out the big guns. It was covert. About as covert as it could be, but there were a few hinges. Security went off. The Inquisition got involved. Fuck. We expected kindred, but we weren't anticipating fucking fire guns. Bombs. I wasn't the leader. Not of my group. What I did, and what I was intended to do, was beat the guys who came at the rest of us. Because that's what I do best. As soon as someone started getting in our way, I'd bust them open, beat them into a bloody pulp, while everyone else ran about their business. One of them fucked up. Set off an alarm. Next thing I know, I hear gunshots. Radios going off. Everyone else, they were faster than me. That's the fucking problem, wasn't it? The entire time. Everyone else could fucking run. Fast as hell. I couldn't keep up.
Benji, everything that you hear in your mind right now is those gunshots. They're not made of fire. No, but they hurt. They were pelting you repeatedly. No, this wasn't human involvement. No, the Camarilla knew you were coming.
They planned it. Like a fucking rat trap.
Somebody spilled the beans. Somebody had to have given up the information. Somebody fucked up.
And I was basically the fucking decoy. While everyone else was able to scatter and get away with the goods. All their fucking needs. They left me to die.
Your memory kind of fades in and out. You remember razor sharp claws digging into your skin inside the building. You remember this person could have taken your head at any moment, but they didn't. They simply struck you with those claws over and over and over again. And eventually a stake is shoved into your back, your eyes wide open. And the person you see is a blonde woman. She's incapacitated you. She's taken you.
This camera, bitch.
You wait for hours and hours in this state.
And she's just watching me. Eventually she comes up and whispers in my ear. Something about retribution, something about justice. As if I would ever fucking know anything about that.
Make me a wits plus awareness. You swear you hear whispering. Another voice. Someone you can't see. And this woman backs up from you. Turns around to potentially look at someone else, but she doesn't seem to see them either.
I can't tell who it is. Another Camarilla here to make a joke of me.
And you spend hours in this state. Eventually, when you feel like dawn might be approaching, the woman takes you and sets you up on a very precarious building, intending to leave you sitting and turn to ash in the sun.
Well, at least I get to watch the sunrise. My king. I don't want to die. Not like this. I don't want to die. Benji tries to scream out. But nothing, no sound comes out.
Eventually, the woman has a hand placed on her shoulder, and you see a man indicating that they should walk away. And the two of them leave, and you are left there just as the sun is about to rise, but then minutes, maybe? You're not sure.
My mind flashes to my short, mortal life. People I cared about. I didn't even get to say goodbye. I didn't get to say anything about why I vanished or where I've gone. They're just gonna fucking find me as a pilot does. No one's gonna know what I was.
The last thing you remember is your eyes closing. And when you wake up the following night, there's a woman there. She's removed the stake. She's above you. And that is the night that you met Isabella.
I remember everything. Most everything.
Most everything?
There's some things, people I heard, but didn't see. I don't recall them. I swear if I heard their voice again, I would know immediately. The other ones that I did see, I could pick them out in the crowd. And then you.
I picked you up off that roof that night.
You did. I thought I was gonna die alone up there. I really thought that was the end of it.
Glad it wasn't, right?
I am. Because now there's so much I get to do. That I can do. And I get to pay you back. Most of all. Thank you, Isabella. But
Are you gonna be alright?
I am. There's a few things I still don't understand. Maybe for the better. My sire, for instance.
Vicious man, that one.
Take a long pause at Isabella. What was his name?
If I say his name,
I won't go after him. There's something in me that tells me the exact opposite.
for good reason. He toppled, or at least assisted, in toppling the Camarilla in Amarillo.
My hometown. I mean, fuck.
Aptly named Carnage.
It's... I guess you were right then. A monster? Fucking sounds like it.
The worst that anyone's ever seen.
Is he like... Is he like that comic book villain?
No.
No. Okay.
He looks like an ordinary sleaze. But has claws and teeth that rip flesh faster than anyone could ever dream possible.
That's right. I remember that at least. Fucking teeth. Those fucking teeth. Like needles. Just holding them. Right. Yeah. Well. It's better I know this now.
Are you sure?
If the Camarilla come in, then at least I have some idea of what to expect. can spot two in the crowd after all.
All right.
I have a lot of other things I need to be doing tonight. I have an appointment with another kindred.
Oh dear.
No, it's alright, it's alright. I'm trying to not cause trouble tonight. If I can avoid it, that's my preference as well.
She just cocks her head at you knowingly.
Well,
Please
I
don't
mean,
cause any trouble.
I'll do my best. You'd be surprised. I'm learning a lot from Urian. I'm learning an awful lot.
Good.
Yeah.
He seems interesting.
Oh, you have no idea.
Do you know something I don't?
He's small, but he's like a rabid dog.
A rabid dog.
Yeah.
The last time I met him, he was rather poised.
Yeah, well, that's his facade, right? It's like his stage presence. Like he gets out in the ring, pow, 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 he just fucks everything up, fucks everyone up. Yeah. I'm starting to learn the gist of it is not to mess with him.
Fair. I'm thinking the same can be said with all kindred, including the one that you're going to go meeting tonight. We all have that little beast in us, in our heads. The one that gets rather noisy sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I'm prepared for tonight.
Okay. Then I won't keep you.
I appreciate you, Isabella. You take care tonight.
You take care as well.
I politely scoot in the chair.
Be good.
Give a silent wave to Isabella. And exit her office. Well. I guess it's time. Gonna go pick up Emmanuel. Take him home.
So you make your way out of La Medianoche into the streets. You pick up Emmanuel from the coterie house. He looks disheveled. He looks hungry. He hasn't really said much. He's kind of just looking around. Doesn't seem to know where he is.
Oh boy. Benji taking the wheel, goes ahead and stops by McDonald's. Something. Mickey D's, if you will.
Mm-hmm. You pick up some food.
Like, grabs him a double Whopper.
and
Some
he goes to eat the whole thing rather quickly.
Okay, well, if your appetite's not gone, then there's still hope. Benji begins driving towards his apartment. He's keeping fairly law-abiding with his driving.
You make your way through the streets to the south side of the city, kind of the middle of the south side. You reach an apartment complex that you enter. There's no gates or anything. It's just open. Park the car near the house where the house number that you see on his driver's license.
Benji is looking at the apartment. Does he see any lights on?
There's no lights in Emmanuel's apartment on currently.
Okay.
Not that you can see from here.
He's gonna give a quick look around, see if there's anyone in the area watching.
What's going on?
We're taking you home, bud. Okay. He looks over at Emmanuel. You tired?
I don't. And he just kind of trails off.
I'm gonna take that as yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Alright. Well, we're gonna get you to bed, first and foremost.
Okay.
And your friend is gonna come over. I'm just gonna chat with him really quick. Make sure he knows how to take care of you. We just picked you up.
Which friend?
Your friend. Just the guy you've been talking with for a while. We're gonna make sure he knows what needs to be done to take care of you. We have the doctor's prescription. Okay, let's get you inside.
And after that little bit of awkward conversation, you help him up the stairs and unlock the apartment door and go to what you assume is his room.
Just
This one bedroom apartment. It seems obvious.
basically ushers Emmanuel into his bed. If Benji sees him struggling a bit, helps him get tucked in. All the while feeling entirely awkward about it. And closing the door as he leaves his room. Okay, now the waiting game.
You wait for a bit. You had spoken with Rascal to meet him here. Seems a little bit risky, given the fact that Emmanuel could potentially come out of that room at any moment.
Well, that's why Benji's staying at the door.
You wait. And eventually, there is a very quiet knock.
Is there people to the door?
There is.
Benji looks through it first to see if it's like the mailman or some shit instead.
It's way too late for visitors, and it's way too late for a mailman.
But does he see anyone?
Nothing.
Ah, good. Well, this old bitch has arrived. Benji opens the door just a crack. Might I ask who is entering?
I'm not coming in the house. Downstairs. You hear a whisper.
All right. Benji opens the door fully and, not seeing anyone, he just clambers on down the stairs. He keeps his hand to his side, just very discreetly, just in case.
Okay. What is it that you're trying to discreetly
Oh, well, as of right now, Benji has the wooden stake from Urian's house. Cabin? House. The coterie house. He has it shoved kind of like in his pants, ready to be whipped out at any moment.
Okay. Make me a composure plus subterfuge.
What composure? How did I win that?
You discreetly have it in your pocket. You walk down the stairs towards the end of the stairs. You don't hear anything coming up behind you, so you assume that this person is following you. You kind of go down, you kind of reach the end of the stairs, and you hear that whisper by your ear again. Thanks for bringing him back.
Oh yeah, sure, no problem. So we need to make a discussion here really quick, Rascal. Buddy. How about, now that we're a little bit more in a discreet location, how about you show yourself? Mano y mano.
That's problematic given the fact that we're in a residential area.
Would you prefer to go to the alley?
I don't need people spotting me. For now, it looks like you're talking to yourself. I'm fine with that.
Alright. Well, good to know you're a coward. So, Rascal. You came to me with the intention to get something out of this. Not just your boys, but something else. So talk to me.
I went to La Medianoche to get my boys. 'Cause you have them. Had one of them. You can keep Carlos, all I care. He works in that fucking hospital anyway.
What does Emmanuel mean to you? What's his importance?
Contact for Carlos.
So it's a contact for Carlos, but you don't care about Carlos no more.
Carlos is a small fish in a big pond.
And Emmanuel isn't.
Emmanuel's bigger fish than
Insight
Carlos.
Check.
All right.
Insight check. He's bullshitting me. Insight and what?
Wits. Far as you can tell, he's telling the truth.
That's pretty useless. Alright then. How about we put it in this perspective? So, you have Carlos working for Emmanuel, who works for you.
Manuel works for other people who work for me.
Oh, so you admit having a bigger organization. Thanks, okay. Rascal, you swindled resources and brought your operation on Delgado's domain and on Urian's domain. Do you know Urian?
Can't say I've heard of him.
No? Well, maybe you should know. Here's the thing. You're lucky that you're talking to me right now. Because the worst that I can do is beat the ever-loving fuck out of you for your bullshitting. Now, if you had to be sent to Urian, if he had to know any of this, he would have sent you back to Jameson in a fucking ash box. Are you comprehending this right now?
That's some pretty big talk. For a fish I've never heard of.
That's just the thing about fucking guard dogs, ain't it? You always see the sign, you know. Watch for dog. Beware of dog. You never really hear them, but they're there.
Okay.
So, next thing is, for some ugly bitch who has to hide his face, you collaborate pretty closely with a bunch of mortals.
Who says I interact with them directly?
And you have a whole bunch of branching out options here. I'm just saying, you're running a fine line.
Okay.
It wouldn't be too difficult for me to simply make an anonymous call to the local authority on one of your little operations to get the whole thing to bust underneath you, now would it? And then, after that, everyone's gonna find out where the connections lead. Wow, who's this ghost guy? Who's this guy coming up on us? You're a lot closer than you think, Rascal. You are running along a tightrope there. And the thing about that is that if you fuck up, all of us fuck up. Finally,
What do you want out of this, Big B? What do you even fucking want?
Here's the thing.
If we're cutting bullshit here.
I know Jameson has a little operation of running guns and ammunition. And if you're part of that, to this group, you're privy to that. I want weapons.
For what? If you said that Urian's a big gun, big dog, you don't need guns.
How about this?
And if you're as powerful as you say you are, you don't need guns. What do you really want?
I said what I wanted. Guns. Because in this instant, there's something a lot bigger coming up on us. And if you're Nosferatu, you probably know all about it.
I hear lots of things.
I'm sure you do.
I really don't know which part of it you're talking about.
Bullshit.
You can call bullshit all you want. I don't You want guns. Okay.
I want guns, and the fact that you're even getting Emmanuel back alive, considering a mercy.
Got any cash on you?
No, you stupid bitch. I brought back your boy. I didn't have to bring him back at all. And I could have fucking broke your neck here and now if I wanted to. I'm throwing in Daunt. I'm gonna start intimidating him.
Okay. Yeah, I would definitely say that's an intimidation roll.
Pops the Daunt. What's my presence to? Okay. Daunt, manipulate. Presence, or 2 modifier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. Oh.
So what happens? You make your threat. And the next thing that you know is you are being pulled by the shirt into another section of the apartment building that's a little bit more covered and and out of the way. And he has you by the neck and he has you up against the wall. You don't fucking threaten me.
Benji just smirks. I'm about to. He grabs Rascal's arm, activates Potence.
Okay, roll a rouse for that. Okay, you don't get hungrier.
He's used to this. I'm gonna use my special kickboxing skills. Kick him back, and then flip around and break his arm.
Okay, then make me a strength brawl.
And I can use... How does specialties work in this instance?
Specialty gives you a +1 modifier. Potence gives you your potence level as a modifier as well.
Woo! Oh.
Oh no. You have made
Someone save this man.
7 successes. You whip him around and you straight up pull his arm right out of its socket. You feel like it's going to rip right off of him. And he is snarling at you, and when he turns around and makes eye contact with you, he says the word forget, and he is going to roll cloud memory. Your resistance is wits plus resolve for that.
Okay. And I'm gonna use willpower.
Okay.
How many can I reroll?
Up to 3.
Cool.
And he's gonna spend a willpower too.
Ah, no, motherfucker.
He does not want you walking away remembering this. Benji, you feel as if your brain was going fuzzy. And he erases the last little chunk of memory, and while you're dazed, he is making his way to get away. And when you come to, you're not sure why you're behind this set of stairs. You're not sure. Did you drop off Emmanuel? You don't remember. Not quite. Wait. Yes? No? Yes?
Yeah.
I remember. I dropped off Emmanuel.
Well,
Rascal never showed.
well, then Benji's taking Emmanuel back. Simple as that.
And so you take Emmanuel back.
He just picks him up. Baby carries him back to the car. Well, sorry, my guy. But I think we need to move you.
What? I'm confused. What's going on? Why did you wake me up? I thought I was supposed to come home.
You know, I
So-
thought so too, but the funny thing about home is that it doesn't stay that way for long.
I want to
So-
just stay here and sleep. Just leave me the fuck alone.
Well, you're gonna get the chance to sleep.
You put me in a basement. I don't want to go back.
Emmanuel. We're going back. Benji starts the car.
He's gonna try and get out of the car.
Benji just grabs him by the scruff and holds him in place.
What? Fine. You don't feed me. What am I supposed to do?
You want food? Fine, we can stop by another Mickey D's on the way back.
You didn't before.
Alright. You want me to start giving you money for food?
I just want to stay home.
Home is moved. Benji starts driving.
And you make your way back to the coterie house. With Emmanuel in tow. Rascal fucked off. Or did he show up? You're not entirely sure.
Well, they had a deal. Regardless, Benji doesn't recall seeing Rascal at all, so that being said, Emmanuel is now Benji's responsibility.
And that, I believe, is where we're going to take our break. When we come back, we will have a conversation with M and a dear friend. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, everyone, to San Antonio, not Saturday, San Antonio by Night, Season 1 vignettes. Currently, M is at the Coterie House. She hasn't really seen anyone today. There's not really a whole lot of things going on. She really has been toying a little bit with her tarot cards. Sitting in her room, contemplating. And give us a little bit of insight into what it is that you've been thinking about lately with the
Well,
news.
the new. I just remember every single footstep to my room. How I felt like the earth quaked beneath my feet. I feel alone, even though I leave a room full of extremely capable coterie members. And as I look over my cards, I look for the answers, but in all honesty, it's just vagueness. I know what the situation is. I know we're kind of fucked. But Joe didn't want this. I didn't want this. But here we are.
You hear a knock at the front door.
I raise my eyebrow. I'm tired, but no one else is here at the moment, or unable to answer. So, I head down the stairs, head kind of hanging low. I look out. I believe we have a people?
Yeah.
I look at the people to see who it is.
You see Clovis standing there. He's kind of looking around around the front entrance of the home, kind of taking in what beauty goes into this particular little trail that leads up to the house.
Sorry, so I lost some internet right there.
Uh, Clo-
Did she see?
Clovis is at the door.
Okay. So an old familiar face, an old familiar friend, even though I'm wary to call anyone that these days. I open the door, putting a bright, chipper smile on my face. Clovis.
M, how are you?
She looks at him with grievous in her face. I think I might have a guess as to why you're here. For the circumstances, at least.
It's twofold. Is Yuri in here?
The last I remember, is he here?
No, he's gone off and done something else. Possibly looking for that coterie house that he was thinking about.
Well, can I... Why do you ask?
Oh, just asking. He's, the one who's usually here. That's odd that he's out. It's not important. I'm here for you anyway.
Would you come in?
And he goes in. beside you as you step aside to let him in.
She closes the door behind him. I'm sorry, I just didn't want any wandering ears to perhaps hear what we have to say.
All right. Well, I don't know how to say it, so I'm just going to say it. I have news about Joanna.
M takes a step back and looks for the nearest chair and sits. All right.
And he goes to sit in a chair across from you. It's Hugh.
What did he do?
I don't know exactly, but I know he found her.
And in found, does that mean she lasted their encounter?
Sorry, say again.
Sorry, I'm trying to remember. As in, he found her, does that mean that she possibly survived his encounter?
I don't think so. I had a messenger come to the hospital today. You remember the butler? I forget his name. The one.
And racks her memory to try to remember.
You remember there being someone always at her side. But you don't remember the name either. Human, you think? Maybe a ghoul? She was there as long as Joanna was anywhere. Candy, I think is her name. He says. Yes. Yes, she came to visit me at the hospital. She's the one who told me.
She came all the way from New York to tell.
I don't think she was that far. She said she came from Dallas. Or outside of Dallas. Joanna wouldn't have gone to Dallas. Sorry, I'm a bit flustered.
I understand, Chloe. Hard news to really receive. I know that you are helping us on behalf of Joanne.
A boon paid.
I don't think I ever got the chance to thank you for that.
There's no need. The least I could do is make sure that you were protected. And I'm continuing to do so. I have a gift for Urian. He's not here, though. But it's alright.
I know Urian would most likely entrust me in package.
Alright.
Would you feel comfortable leaving it with me?
It's, something between Tremere, you understand.
Ah, yes. Then I will no further pursue it.
Well, if there's anything that I could do for you,
It's I don't know what to do, Clovis. Hugh is on his way and we know that. And I have my coterie, but you know Hugh.
I know you. He's a right scary one. He's, unhinged would be a kind word. You know that better than anyone.
Yeah. Now he's on his way. But the only thing I can do is really prepare. Did Candy did she make it here okay? Did she encounter him?
I don't think so. She didn't say. She simply made her way here because Joanna told her to.
Is she still in San Antonio?
I believe she is staying at one of the hotels nearby.
Do you have a name?
I will get it for you. And he gives you the name of the hotel. I don't have that on hand as the storyteller.
No problemo.
But he gives you the name of it, and then continues, I think she intends to go back to New York. I'm not sure that we're going to see her again after that. She was with Joanna for a long time.
I wish I would have gotten to know her more. I know that Joanna loved her.
You're not wrong. I know Joanna loved you.
I can't believe she's gone, Clovis.
Me either. She was a good friend.
Was there anything about Hugh, any tips of... We know he's coming after me, but how much does he know?
That's a tricky one. I don't have a lot of connections to the Camarilla. I came here because I wanted out of that life. So I didn't maintain any contacts, really. Except for Joanna. So, the fact that Hugh is that Hugh has accomplished what he set out to do with her. It seems that it's only logical that he continue his search for you.
I find myself being unaware of the, the powers behind it all. As my own, with the vision, with seeing things that are unseen.
Hmm.
What of Hugh? I barely knew him, but I knew to fear him. Do you know much? Joanna was bound to tell you something.
Her first child. She feared him as much as anyone. He was clever. And, or is clever, rather. He is resourceful, doesn't give up. And rose to giddy heights rather quickly. New York seemed to be a very good place for him. And wasn't a very good place to Joanna. So, may have been some favoritism. She didn't much care for much aside from having some modicum of peace. But no, he wanted more than that. He didn't want to settle down like she did. I think that's what people feared in him the most. You're making preparations to protect yourself, right? If you need anything,
I'll make you aware, I promise. I told my coterie what our situation is. I saw it all in my dreams. I believe in my coterie, the Clovis. I need to find something for myself. I need a supply. A steady supply for myself, truly, to have blood. I have become so dependent on my visions, and I need to learn how to convey that they're just not mad illusions.
alright. I'll see what I can set up for you. I can't do it very often. Suspicions will run high. I have pull, but I don't run it. But that is what I can do for you.
Thank you, Clovis. And my friend Alfonso.
Yes. Alfonso. He's been helping me in my research a lot, actually.
Has he been good to you?
Quite. He
Good.
talks about you every day. Seems
miss
enamored
him
with
very
you,
much.
actually.
He was so fearful when I first met him, and I was all too familiar with that. He and I think, truly became friends through these days, and I miss him very much.
Well, I shall endeavor to have him stop by at some
I would
point.
very much be grateful for that, Clovis, as soon as possible, if anything. These days, I need to have all my resources as close as possible.
All right. Yes, I will give him a call tonight, and I will let him know that you would like to see him.
Thank you. And keep in contact with me more, will ya?
Of
I
course.
don't know much, but you were one of the first I met, so it means something to me.
Well, you mean a lot to Joanna, so it's the least I can do.
M looks around, unsure and anxious. I'm not sure when Urian will be back, but I'll let you know when he does.
That's all right. I'll stop by some other time.
Mm. Stay safe out there, Clovis, please.
You too.
She
And
nods and stands,
he gets up as well.
and she leads him to the door to lead him out.
And he leaves from the house. What do you wish to do now?
I remember a while ago, Wolf, and that situation with Bior, and my questions I had for Camarilla. Now it just seems confusing and jumbled, and I want to know how close Hugh is. And I don't have feelers, but I need feelers out there. I can use my own senses, but I just don't have that validity to them. At least within the community, from what I've seen so far. And Alfonso is going to be a few days away. I would like to perhaps, with the information I have of Hugh, force a premonition to maybe get more internally who he is. Just like how far he is, how close he is, how hell bent he is. And perhaps maybe find how he found Joanna. Clovis was the one I knew so far who helped me and her escape. So, were we just sloppy, or did someone let information leak? And if who? If fucking who? And if I find out, then...
Then go ahead and roll me a rouse check.
Yeah.
You get a little hungrier, and don't address your hunger until after you make your premonition roll.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Premonition. And then can I willpower that?
Yep. You settle into the chair and let your mind wander to Hugh. Hugh. You picture his face. You picture the interactions that he's had with Joanna. You picture in your mind and focus, where is he? Where is he? You search and you search and you search and you look through the stars. And it's that same specter of death with his face. And it sits atop that white tower again. But that tower is shaped familiarly, like something you've seen in Texas before, something, a landmark. A landmark. It's brilliant, colorful lights. It's a big city. A very big city. A very big city. Very, very big Texas city. There's a Texas flag. But that's all you can really gather.
Still not enough, but I'll just be satisfied. That's all I can do right now. With that or a Hugh. I feel defeated. I feel afraid to step outside. I'm not sure.
What's going through your mind right now?
Just my lack of inability. Or the feeling of I can't do anything. Even with being able to see into what others can, it's still not enough. But the next best thing I could try to do is talk to Bjorn. I know I had secrets to tell him. Secrets he might want to know. And if he's good enough, he'll help me pinpoint where he is.
Do you have contact information for Bjor?
I think I did at one point, way back when we were going to go look for Wolf.
All right.
Yeah.
So you give the number a call and you set up a meeting with Bjor Duval. You wander the park that you had seen before, that you had interacted with him at before, seeing as you know that place. You wander around a little bit.
I'll use Sense the Unseen just so I can make sure I know when he shows up.
Okay. Go ahead and let's see. Roll your sense the unseen roll. I believe it's wits plus aspects.
Okay.
You don't see him just yet. But you find yourself sitting on a bench, waiting. And then you hear that all too familiar voice. Well, looky who it is. It's very quiet, a whisper. Right next to your ear.
I look in the direction of where it's coming from. My eyes wide.
You have to focus in just a bit. You swear you can see him, but you're not positive.
Mr. Buer?
That'd be me.
I know it's been a while. I never was able to come with Yuri and with Wolf.
Right, yeah, he delivered him by himself.
Yeah. And I know with that, I had promised you some information on anything or any feelers you had on the Camarilla.
Yeah, you had asked me about that. I've had several people asking me about that lately.
Busy man.
Always. You know how it is.
For you broker types. What have you heard?
Well, Mr. Doyle had called in that favor for bringing me Wolf, and I told his representative. I know that you've been rolling around with him. You've been running with him. That they're in Dallas. What was his name? Kyle Calhoun was the one in Dallas. Yeah. Yeah, he's out there. Camarilla City. Remember?
Barely these days, but yes. Now that they're... And she catches herself. Buer. I want to... And she looks away, embarrassed. I'm really good at getting information. But the little finicky bit about it is that I'm a raving fucking lunatic.
Raven fucking lunatic, huh?
It's fantastic. But in actuality, not really. I get information. Well, I have resources, and I want to put that out there as something that people can have.
Okay.
I want to sell my information, Bjorn.
Okay. So, about this Camarilla thing.
Yeah.
You want more information on that? Mr. Doyle wants Mr. Information more. Blah, blah. I can't talk today. Wants more information on that. I'm working really hard to satisfy that. It's been a couple of nights. got a little bit more for him.
Oh.
Yeah. Kyle Calhoun is running with a couple of the survivors of Jackson. Nosferatu bloke. I don't know his name off the top of my head. Steely? I don't know. Then
I
there's
appreciate
this other lady. Crevier, I think is her name.
that. Mm-hmm.
Able to find that out. At least got that part. Kinda hit me out of nowhere, trying to cash in some things.
Mm-hmm.
I was busy doing other stuff. But, yeah.
So we have Steely, and we have Kyle, and we have, what was her name?
Crevier.
Crevier. Do you know if he was rolling with anybody else?
Roland specifically, I'm not sure about. There's, just been hearing rumor. I don't really have a whole lot of contacts from New York, but there's somebody there from New York.
Mm-hmm. I can confirm that.
You can.
Yeah, I just wanted to see how much actual knowledge you had.
Okay. So you know who's coming from New York.
Yeah. Name, face, faction. I can do this quite
How?
often. I have resources, Mr. Bior, and I'd like to sell them.
Okay.
If you need anything,
Credible sources?
yes. Very
Because if
much
you're
so.
pulling my chain, that ain't nice.
Mr. Bior, I've been nothing but courteous with you. I promise. I treat the people who have helped me well, even though I maybe shouldn't.
Alright. You said you got a name.
Yeah, it's Hugh.
Hugh.
And then my brain is like biffing on the last name.
For...
Hugh.
Oh. Hugh doesn't go by a last name.
He just goes by Hugh.
Mm-hmm.
Alright.
Like the colors. Like colors, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Alright. 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 Information for information. I got you.
Good trade.
That's a very good trade. So, I don't know. I'm going to continue to look into all of this for Mr. Doyle. I 100% assume he's going to want more. You ever need anything again, you just let me know. I'll tell Wolf you said hi.
And if you think that anybody needs information, maybe as a favor to me, you'll let them know. And I'll just go through you. You can get my information, do me a favor,
Alright.
so on and so forth. Keep the chain going. Help one another out.
Why are you being so helpful, Missy?
She smiles. I just want friends. Resources.
Can't say I blame you. Being a young kid
information.
like you.
I know, I mean naive, I've been told.
Nah, not naive, just young. Just young.
Is Wolf okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
Better?
Let's just say he ain't going nowhere.
She looks down, remembering the night. She could swear her stomach is cramping from the anxiousness she feels. Well, thank you, Bjor. I appreciate you meeting me on this notice.
Of course. And that's the last you hear of his voice.
Better take my leave. I feel naked out in the open. Go back to my home in Hermit. Is anyone home at all, even? I don't know.
Is there someone you want to be home?
If I could, I'd have it be Joanna. Just to make sure she'd be alright, but I know she's gone. I guess I just have to put my head in the books. Try to come up with some sort of game plan.
And with that, Em goes back to her books. Friends giving her information that confirm her suspicions. The insightful little seer was right. We'll be right back, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, to San Antonio by Night. We rejoin the entire coterie. They've spent a couple of days on their own, doing their own ventures, pursuing their own interests, learning more about their past, their present, and their future. They come together for this last little bit, this epilogue, to discuss amongst themselves some plans and what they've been up to. Em, you've been staying at the coterie house for the most part, and when people do arrive, you're the first to notice. This is the home that Clovis set up for you, after all.
I've actually quite enjoyed space. My coterie members. As each one comes in, I greet them excitedly. jumping up and down, twitching.
Benji casually waves at him. He smiles back at her. Welcome back.
Same to you. Good to see you and
Amber would be the next to walk in, stretching her limb in a rather casual set of shirt and jeans, because she's not in the mood for dressing up tonight. Tonight is a more, I suppose, an intimate affair, the right word. And she's going to walk into the coterie house, smiling to M and nodding her head. That's when something a little odd is going to happen. Amber is actually going to come over and give Em a hug.
M is a little ice. Her eyes kind of shoot open for a second, but she accepts the hug and wraps her arms around Amber and pulls her in deeply. I'm glad to see you back, Amber.
And I'm glad to see you, Em. I know the last little while has been hard, so I figured, this might help. Just a little bit, anyway.
M smiles the squishiest, happiest smile face that she could possibly portray towards Amber. That's very sweet of you.
I mean, with all the bitterness over the past couple of days, I've needed a little sweetness. And after a few moments, she would let M go and look over to Benji. It's just like, it's good to see you too, Benji.
Hey. Nice to see you tonight.
I think
You look
this. Oh, go ahead.
You look nice. What's the occasion?
But just chuckles at that. Just chuckles at that. It's just like, Benji, 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 Benji. I don't think you know just how awkward that sounded, and I think that's adorable. I've missed that.
Right. Okay. Alright.
Because M is actually in something very, like, uncharacteristically casual at the moment.
I think your clothes look cozy.
Yeah, I've needed a little cozy. Dressing up is nice, but sometimes you need to dress down a little.
Okay.
Sometimes that means jeans and a shirt and a pair of sneakers. She looks to Benji. Sometimes that means a birthday suit.
Benji looks at Amber, gives a somewhat frightened look, and then looks away. Right.
Amber just chuckles again at that, and is gonna take a seat on the couch.
was waiting for you all to finish up.
How are you tonight?
Urian is observing 3. He's remained silent. Seems to be more just happy to listen. Observe. Though a small amount of jealousy may be crossing his eye when he sees Ember embracing him. He tries to end up forcing that away. I am focused on the next step, a proper domicile. This works well as a meeting place for those we need to seat on our own terms. But this box made of wood and bad memories. This is no home. And certainly not for the child or under my roof. I would see to it that they would have a proper home.
Well, what are we doing with this one then?
A little piece of advice. Always have one place where everybody thinks you are and knows where you can be found, so that you may customarily disappoint.
That's a fun way to put it.
More importantly, this is a place where Delgado knows where we lie. This is a which would be fine. He is in fact the Baron, but I am more concerned with others. This is a good place to stash a vehicle, to perform what we need to perform, and to meet with those from outside our own little gathering. But I find in here cramped. I find it has little futures. It is unworthy of the 3 of you. And yet I cannot help but lament. Perhaps it's an old fool who is just thinking of bygone days. I have a theory, however. I have not confirmed, but I believe that we will be visited by a Nosferatu following behind in the Camarilla.
That's,
I know. Go ahead.
that's terrifying suspicion.
Loyal to a fault. And if that's not unfortunate enough, I have reason to believe that there is a small chance that the one who's leading them all may in fact not be Gelhun. Or if it is, then they have a very powerful ally. Until I am confirmed, I will not speak further on it. But I find myself thinking, perhaps I shouldn't. Moments gone by. It's gatherings like this, with the 3 of you, around the table, seated, and to listen. That's... It brings a bit of nostalgia to me. And I am grateful to you all for it.
for you. Getting us two here, I guess.
Do not be. We have much work ahead of us.
Oh
And
boy.
What is it that's on your mind, Benji?
No. Not much. It just... At this point, it's feeling like a mountain, you know?
It is. But you know the funny thing about mountains, yes?
I don't laugh at them too often.
You'll find this amusing. You can watch them crumble to rivers. You can literally sit there and watch night after night, decade after decade, century after century, and watch something as large as Everest topple.
Huh.
You wait long enough. The worst part is you'll believe it was done quickly.
Benji smiles. I see your point.
Patience serves those of the blood. That is a truth. One that I think will carry with all of you in time. For now, you are a child are trying to find your way in the world. And right now, we have to acknowledge we are sitting with scraps. That is fine. Because I believe that there is more at this table in each of you. You're sure to look in each of your eyes. This intensity. That's kind of commanding presence. I believe each of you capable leaders and creators, capable of molding an entire city, a state, a country, given long enough and enough focus, a world. And right now you are just learning to crawl. Do not rush to the finish line. There is none. But I would hear each of you. I would know your mind and heart. And I will give you mine in turn.
Amber, with that, is gonna speak up. Well, if we are moving on to more serious matters, before we do continue on with what you were saying, Mr. Doyle, I have a rather frightening prospect to bring up. I am of the suspicion that the Baron's information sources are very sorely lacking.
How do you assume that?
When I went to go and have a talk with my sire, and she seems to pull a face as she says that, the Baron decided to grace us with his presence at the party. I
Oh.
spoke to him. And from the things that I could gather, he has absolutely no idea. I mean, hell, he didn't even have any idea that I was associated with Mr. Doyle.
Huh.
Which tells me that there may be some kind of breakdown in the information chain, and it means that if he doesn't know, who else doesn't know? Especially with what we now know is coming in a big way.
You know, come to think of it, Delgado didn't really know much about Jameson imposing on his territory, did he? He had no clue. We were able to find that in about a night.
It's concerning, to say the least. Normally, you would imagine that, you know, a Baron would have more information at his disposal than the child herd that will run amok in his domain.
Amber, enough. Do you share the concerns of Amber and Benji?
And lack of information. Yes. I went to talk to Dior and he had... Nobody knows anything except us. That gives us an edge.
An edge for what?
We know what no one else does.
Yes. And what would you do with such information?
Obviously use it to our advantage.
That is fairly broad. Please elaborate.
We could, in a way, we have almost proven that we know that the Camarilla are coming. We know these people are coming, and the rest of this place doesn't even know. So they probably do not know that we know.
That is possible.
Or just there's an information block somewhere. Who's keeping who in the dark and why?
Why indeed? Who would benefit from the arrival of the Camarilla?
An opportunist.
Perhaps. But many in this city would call me such a creature. So, that being said, let me ask you in a different way. Ask yourselves, truthfully, are you bound to the cause? We are amongst anarchs. We are under a barony. But do you know what that actually means? I only know of one of you who has existed within a true Camarilla city. But do any one of you know what it is we are actually against? For barren or not, divided or not, united are we against the Camarilla. It is the Camarilla that is often known for its political backstabbing. What we are servants of the domain. Now, that being said, if we are in fact the more informed, I very much doubt it, but if we are, that would give us a responsibility, would it not? To every kindred, every, even the kind, if your heart is so moved. San Antonio is an anarch-free city. It will not remain that way if we are more concerned about how can we use a camarilla. I am concerned with taking position and power to better me and mine until it is threatened. And in this exact moment, we are servants under Delgato's domain. Or are you suggesting, perhaps, that we should find another baron to serve? Because if you are, he looks at it with a bit of a stern gaze.
That's a dangerous proposition at best. The last thing we need to be doing, I mean, as simple as it would be to enact something like that, it's not in the best interest of us, and it's not in the best interest of the domain or the city as a whole. We'd be stabbing ourselves we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot in the end. So there's no point in defecting, trying to find another baron. It's adding more to a mountain that doesn't need more added to it.
Our advantage.
No, instead we need to do the opposite. We need to create a united front, and we need to hunt it down. Because it's the only way that we're going to actually survive.
I agree. Our advantage is the fact that we know the Camarilla are coming. We don't know for sure if they know we know. And my regards to you for giving us that heads up.
No problem.
And I'd honestly like nothing more than to be able to beat their heads in.
If it were that simple. Well. And I would know your mind on the matter. I have heard what Amber has to say. I know of Benji's demeanor. But of you, your counsel, I value as highly.
Well, my associate who gave me a place here in San Antonio and I talked. It's confirmed with Joanna that Hugh has gotten to her. I know that he's close and he's in Texas. I can't exactly remember my vision too well, but I know there were... What I'm saying is I may be pinpointing where Hugh might be. Or I'm trying to. I just don't know who to trust in this city. If you say Kyle has his fingers in every pie, who's to say that he doesn't have any in ours here in San Antonio?
ST,
Mm.
can I make a roll to see if Benji can recall the specific building that he raided that night.
Make me an intelligence academics.
Oh, this is gonna be bums.
We'll see. You know, it was on the outskirts of town. It was, it was thought to be, and probably was, a safe house for resources of a physical demeanor. You didn't really get to look inside the building all that much. You know that the alarms went off. You know they had high security. The outskirts of the Dallas-Fort Worth area is really all that you know.
All right. What resources was Benji trying to... What were they after that night?
Mostly, physical assets like being able to, like drugs and cash and maybe some other things that, in a physical nature, would be spendable. You know that they
Benji
had
look-
multiple, and this was a multiple front attack.
Benji looks to Amber. Where did you say they were holed up again? What did Beer tell you?
Dallas.
Dallas. There's a building out there. Not quite the outskirts. Not quite inner city. Where did you say it was again? I forgot.
It was kind of in the outskirts of the Dallas-Fort Worth area and was thought to be a safe house.
Okay, Benji relays that. There was, well, I was there once. And I tried infiltrating it with a couple others at the time. This was about a year ago, though. They might have changed locations.
If that is the case, we need to find out ties, businesses, individuals with absurd amount of cash, or perhaps shill companies that are buying up property. Probably from Dallas, maybe not. Helps narrow down the search on where they may be hiding here. They would need to do so. But we also need to know their aims. Camarilla can try to overtake a city, but trickier still. Depending on who they may be, this may be something else in mind. We need to understand their enemy. For all we know, their personal vendettas could just simply be a bonus. do not like not knowing.
I don't think any of us like not knowing right now.
I ask you something. And this is coming from a place of concern. This barony, we cannot look over the entirety of San Antonio. Not us four. However, we can look after our own small piece of it. And we can assist Baron Delgado. If he is blind, then we must be his eyes. What must this Baron see?
He has to see Camarilla threat. He has to see it on his doorstep before it's on his doorstep. And being Anarch Barony, he needs to be able to gather everyone for it. With presumably the other barons. Am I wrong?
Urian's thinking. San Antonio is a wide city. Very large. There's a lot of ground to cover. Right now, as much as I am loathed to say it, we must inform even Baron Jameson the threat, but first and foremost, loyalty to our Baron. In exchange, we must end up seeing our Baron as a true leader. He must earn our trust as well. He is not a prince, after all. Honestly, I doubt very many here could even understand what they're going up against. Camarilla is some boogeyman, is some oppressive force. It's so easy to use such blanket statements. I'm sorry,
No,
I'm clearly tired.
you're right. You're far more organized than we are. And that's already apparent.
There's a bit of concern on Urian's face when he looks to you. Specifically, he holds his eyes on Benji. After that statement. And it's almost like he's about to say something, then he just shakes his head and silences himself, letting the others continue. His mind trying to wrap his head around the task that lays before them.
I mean, we're being each other. Mr. Doyle's right. None of us truly know. All we can figure is that what lies ahead is going to be a momentous task, and we need to do everything in our power to make sure that to tackle as much as we can before it shows up, because given the very little I know, we're not going to be able to stop them properly. suppose the monolith is the right word. Is, even if we were to rouse every kindred in this city, it would still be, well, the mother of all slogfests.
Is that what you think? Is that how you think you fight Camarilla?
No, I'm just saying that if it were to happen like that, it would happen like that.
Yes, it would. But you are up against yourselves. I am trying not to become what it is you all despise. I have to believe in each child here.
You could easily just be that prince. Couldn't ya? That voice says in your head.
Urian grabs hold of the chair and grips as the idea comes into his head. Yes, I could. Oh, I could. With such child, it would be a small piece of the tower, but it would be so nice to return home. It wouldn't be mine. Not proper. Not right now. He begins to speak, actually aloud. What you need to understand is every member of that Camarilla is tested, proven. Every one of you feels you have gone through trials and you want. But for them, making the most out of nothing is not only expected, it is almost an unwritten rule that is so common. You are expecting an elite. You'll get one. Each one of them is a piece of a larger whole. And when each one wants to ascend. So only the strong will raise. The stronger you are, the higher you can climb. The more you can hold. The smarter you are. The more well-spoken you are. The more ruthless you are. Our fight has been trying to find a way that works. That does not become another Camarilla. So I looked to the young. New ideas. Ways it can work. And I have found them all wanting. But I need a new idea, lest we fall to the same old. I can teach you to fight as Camarilla, but Jurian stands up, his chair falls over, knocking on the floor. He ruffles his hair a bit like he's losing his mind for a moment. He's pacing like there's something inside that wants to get out. He pacing, a bit pacing. He brings himself to a calm, well, loose calm. This is... I cannot teach you to be anarchs. I can only teach you to be kindred, to be Canaanites, to be vampires, but most importantly, to find what is within you and how to use it to your own benefit. Who you stand with, that has to be your choice.
I think that calls it.
Unless someone has a retort, we can call the session. And it seems that the host has a choice. A choice for what they do for themselves, what they do for the barony, what they do for the city. And Season 1 of San Antonio by Night comes to a close. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a good night.
Good night.